Continuing our discussion about the discovery of Sanchi and Amravati Stupa, that becomes a source of information, architectural information for us regarding the developments in the philosophical and religious field during the 6th century BC onwards. We find that the stupas like that of at Sanchi and Amravati were discovered unintentionally. It was not that long drawn excavations were done and we finally came to reveal that stupas were there over there. It was accidentally that we came through these monuments, which was in the form of mound of mud. It was covered by a mound of mud. With the passage of time, dust used to get accumulated, and continuously, because of disuse of that architectural monument, it got covered completely by a mound, and it was just like a small hillock on which trees and other vegetative materials might have grown up. So it was very unintentionally that these stupas were discovered. The stupa at Sanchi, which is located in Bhopal, is considered of much significance from historical point of view. We find its mention also in Mahavamsha and Deepvamsha, which is the historical text of Sri Lanka. In 1818, a British Army General Taylor reached the top of a hillock in the small village named Kankhera in Sanchi. He found there a unique mound. In 1818, a British Army General Taylor reached the top of a hillock in the small village named Kankhera in Sanchi. He found there a unique mound resembling a dome. In 1822 AD, Captain Johnson, who was the assistant political agent in the state of Bhopal, got a part of the mound excavated. In 1851, Alexander Cunningham got done the excavation work at Sanchi very carefully. It has been mentioned in Tajul Iqbal's Tariq-e-Bhopal. In 1881, H. Cole, an archaeologist, got cleared of the forest on its hillocks in order to preserve the remains of the Sanchi stupa. In 1912, John Marshall, Director General of the Archaeological Survey of India, got furthered the excavation work at Sanchi. An effort was made to bring the stupa of Sanchi in its original form by putting together different parts of its ruins. So it was by these efforts that the Sanchi stupa was able to be preserved. Otherwise, it would also have been destroyed like the stupa at Amravati and other stupas that were constructed in different parts of our country. So it was by a chance and by the efforts of the archaeologists that the Sanchi stupa still is present, and we can by ourselves see it and understand the architecture that is involved in the construction of the stupa. And also it tells us about the religious development that took place during the 6th century BC onwards. There is another stupa which is very important, but unfortunately it is not intact. Very few remains of that stupa is available with us, and that is Amravati stupa. In 1976, a local king who wanted to build a temple found the ruins of the stupa at Amravati, located in present state of Maharashtra. He decided to use the stones in the construction work of a temple. So the materials of which the stupa was made, Amravati stupa was made, it was decided that it should be used in the construction of temple without knowing the importance of that stupa. So it was accidentally that we came through the stupa and we came to know about the presence of such a stupa at Amravati in Maharashtra. Some years later, Colin Mackenzie, a British official, while passing by that region, found several pieces of sculpture there. He made detailed drawings of some of the sculptures, but unfortunately none of his reports were ever published. Walter Elliot, the commissioner of Guntur in Andhra Pradesh, visited Amravati in 1854 AD. He collected many sculpture panels and took them along to Madras. Walter Elliot was also successful in discovering the remains of the western gateway of Amravati Stupa. He arrived at the conclusion that the stupa at Amravati was one of the largest and the most magnificent of the Buddhist stupas. Then the process of taking the carved slabs from Amravati to different places began. Some slabs were sent to Asiatic Society of Bengal in Calcutta, and some were placed at the Indian office in Madras. Several pieces of sculpture from Amravati were used as decoration pieces to decorate the gardens of the British administrators in London. Thus, the Amravati Stupa was destroyed, and consequently, the Indians were deprived of their important heritage. So, actually, we didn't knew the importance of the stupas and the architectural monument that existed over there in Amravati, and that was one of the biggest reason why we lost the Amravati Stupa. We are fortunate to have the Sanchi Stupa. There were many stupas, such architectural monuments that existed in different parts of our country, but we were not able to retrieve them. The Amravati Stupa would have been preserved like that of the Sanchi Stupa. It seems perhaps Amravati was discovered sometime earlier than Sanchi, when we didn't knew the importance of such architectural monuments, and the people's mindset was to use the materials that they had found accidentally for construction works, for new construction works. Perhaps the scholars were not aware of the significance of preserving the archaeological remains at the site where they were found originally till then. Today, the glory of Amravati is just an insignificant small mound whose whole glory has been a matter of the past. So we have not been able to preserve this. This is this stupa, this architectural monument. But whatever we have left with, that gives us a lot of information about the philosophical and religious development that took place during the 6th century BC onwards.